under Bowie.
I've got a picture of him when he got arrested. It's a brilliant photo. His mugshot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's great. He's just stood there and obviously he looks fucking incredible. No one looks I did not look incredible, mate. And I put him in my toilet anyway.
Brilliant. Hi, I'm Conor Byrne and this is That's What I Call Marketing, the podcast where you will hear from the leading lights in the marketing world and listen to their unique insights. And you just heard a clip of today's guest, the brilliant Nils Leonard. He needs no real introduction, but if you don't know who he is, he's one of the founders of Uncommon Studios along with Lucy Jameson and Natalie Crane. He spent over 20 years in advertising. He was the youngest chair of Grey in London, voted Adweek's Creativity Top 100. He's on the list of the Sunday Times most 500 most influential people in the UK. Uncommon work with some of the biggest brands in the UK, BA, ITV, B&Q, and they've been named Campaign's Creative Agency of the Year. The list of accolades goes on and on. Nils was in Dublin giving a talk at a joint IAPI Marketing Society event. And shout out to IAPI and Marketing Society for that, for coming together, raising the bar. Let's do more of that. He kindly joined me afterwards at Core Creative in Windmill Lane to chat. And what a location, because this episode is rock and roll from start to finish. We talk about how Nils started lamb and mint sandwiches, that first break, his time at Grey and how getting Grey at Grey made him realise there was more to this. We discuss curiosity, we kind of debate that a little bit. We talk about the work Uncommon has done, why it matters to matter, ambition is okay, hiring right, ferociousness, Uncommon now taking on America, and his base, his rocks, his family. If you listen to this episode and are not inspired, well, you decide what to do. Don't forget to subscribe to That's What I Call Marketing wherever you are listening or watching. And if we can help you grow your business through marketing, visit that'swhatIcallmarketing.com and see how we can help. Today's episode of That's What I Call Marketing is brought to you by the Indie List, Ireland's leader for freelance marketing, creative and digital talent. The Indie List provides easy access to hundreds of highly experienced and vetted experts across the marketing services business, quickly and cost effectively. You can check out their full range of services at indielist.ie. Nils, thanks a million for joining me on That's What I Call Marketing.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, listen, really delighted to have you here. And in person. I don't get to do many of these in person, so
right.
It's extra special.
Cool, yeah,
extra
it's
special.
good, thanks.
Listen, obviously, getting ready for this, I was kind of looking into, you, not creepily looking into you and your background, but art is in your DNA. You read your dad was a tattoo artist. There was music around the house. Was always kind of destined for you to do something in that line of business?
Kind of no. I mean, I'd love to say yes, but I don't think so. I mean, yeah, my dad was a tattooist, but my family were very creative. My mum loved music and loved whatever, and we all played instruments and all that stuff. But I don't think either of my parents, and certainly no one in my family when I grew up, thought that we could make money from it.
Right.
And my dad being a tattooist was one way of doing it because you didn't have to get some cash in hand and do whatever, but you also got up to all sorts. So, some of which wasn't strictly on the books and some of it wasn't even legal. So, but I think honestly, it was more that it was this incredible privilege and brilliant thing to be creative, and none of us worked out how to make dough out of it.
Right.
And so I thought to myself, well, that's the thing. How do I make some money out of something I really enjoy? And from a working class background, that's not a conversation people have.
Yeah. So where did you find that path to kind of go, actually, you called it, what was the slutty version
of art?
Where did that come to you?
No. I want to tell you that I read it and I just made it up.
Right.
I swear to God, I just made it up. Basically, there was a load of film, one or two things, Strangely Dangerous Liaisons with John Malkovich and Glenn Close. Obsessed to me, that film, and I couldn't work out why. There was all sorts in it, loads of love and shagging, of course, but this weird thing about a game you want to play with yourself and who are you and who aren't you and all this. I basically just started to refine this kind of taste and this belief that someone out there was making this work. I'd go to the cinema and see fragrance commercials, and those are fucking amazing. And that was when they were good.
Yeah.
But I was like, and I told myself this story that advertising might be a place where my gab and my speed and my whatever might be put to use, and I might get something creative out at the same time.
Right.
And I wish I had something other to tell you than that, but I've kind of manifested my whole fucking life.
Yeah, before that was a thing.
Yeah. I went to the job set. My dad was like, you've got to get a job. You're awful. And I went and tried to do some landscape gardening with him, and I was just embarrassed. You know, I was fucking, he was like ashamed of me. I ordered a minted lamb sandwich in the cafe, and he was like,
I stopped.
"What's fucking wrong with you?" To this day, he takes the piss out of that. You know, one cheese and pickle, yeah, another cheese and pickle, yeah, I'll have a minted lamb. He was like, "Who are you? Who the fuck are you?" So all that, and I went to the job centre and said, "Have you got any jobs in advertising?" She went, "Well, I've never been asked that before." She said, "Let me have a look." And she said, "I got one job," and that was the job I got.
Those are moments though, aren't they? They're kind of seminal. You know, if she'd kind of gone, I've never heard of it, out you go, you know, who knows? But like there's always luck and chance and moments in your life. But I also read that you read a lot. You found people that inspired you, and you just got curious about it. How important was that in
I think my wife disagrees. We talk a lot about this. I'm obsessed with heroes and with villains.
Yeah.
And in life though, not, you know, and your proximity to energies and your proximity to people who are doing things you think is special. People think they can't be in the orbit of that, but they can.
Right.
And I'm obsessed with breaking down those barriers. So people like Nick Cave, I've been obsessed with for years. We've made a film with him. You know, Leonard Cohen was a hero of mine. I ended up working with him in Los Angeles making, you know, and so I've got this addiction and draw and belief in being around people that inspire you and entering their orbit and having them enter your orbit and it both being mutually beneficial. And so I've always done that. And so early in my career, I got lucky with a couple of people who just loved what they did. Yeah. And they taught me to love what I did, and that was good, you know, and I've followed that ever since.
Really. Infectious. Yeah. The kind of.
Well, just passion is always really attractive. Energy is attractive, isn't it? But someone who loves what they do is attractive. But also, I learned the power of it. I learned that when you were really good at it, I looked around me and I thought, what's the difference between this person and this person? And the person with the corner office or the person that everyone listened to would be the person that loved what they did more and were able to articulate it and were able to speak to it and had taken it on their journey. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then you look at, and forgive me, I'm blurby on, but
no.
You look at the untouchable figures in culture, be them actors, be it directors, be it whoever. They're people who have the deepest understanding of their craft.
Yeah.
So Nolan, it's no fucking accident, dude. He works harder than you.
Yeah.
He's not the best director in the world because he is. He's got taste. He's got all that stuff. The guy, you see the mind maps of his films. He's trying to do things that haven't been done before. And as a result, when he succeeds, they're things that haven't been done before.
Yeah.
Inception changed everything in cinema. And so, I just tried to follow those people. Thomas Heatherwick's one of those guys, you know, having met him and now we're working with him, watching what he's done in his space, how he's reinvented himself from being arguably a product designer to being an experienced designer to being one of the world's most in-demand architects. Yeah. I'm like, okay, and everyone assumes it was always Thomas's way. It definitely was.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, short story of that is, I think surrounding yourself with those people teaches you to believe.
And yeah, and I don't disagree in any way. And I do think there has to be the interest and curiosity that you have in yourself to go and find that stuff and those people. And I don't know if that's lacking sometimes.
I think it probably is, but honestly, you describe it as curiosity, and I find that word, and I shouldn't find that word weak, but I find that word weak. Like for me, it was, I needed to get the fuck out.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to learn. I wanted to change. My mum and dad were incredible and taught me love and all sorts of brilliant lessons. But I'll never forget my mum saying, I just don't think that's what we do, son. And I remember finding that intensely tragic.
Right.
You know, and thinking, well, no, that is something we can do and we should deserve that and we can have those things.
Yeah.
And that's something that's stayed with me my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, being outside, I hate. If there's a shut door or a velvet rope or it's like
I'm going
Tinder. It's Tinder. Yeah. It's like, I can't deal with it. What do you mean? No.
Yeah.
I just can't. And so, yeah, I've learned to go.
Is that why when you say you want to make work that matters? Is that why that is so important to you that like you actually, it matters to make work that matters, you know?
Well, if you're going up the ladder, I got into advertising. I realized that I could make creative work and get paid for it. That I could be creative and do what I like and actually make money. So I removed that compromise.
Yeah.
That previously been in my life. Then I was like, I can make work that does this thing called winning awards, and that's interesting and that's quite special and people see you. And then I saw work appear and I was like, hang on, that's way beyond that. Yeah, it's winning awards, but that work in the world was famous and people in the real world talked about it and people in the real world loved it.
Yeah.
And I saw that in terms of film that was made. I saw it in terms of products that were made, freight, whatever. And so I was like, well, that's the ultimate goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to keep going up that ladder, at some point, you're going to be asking yourself, well, how do I make something that's a reference point? How do I make something that speaks to someone like me when I was 16?
Yeah. And that was one of the reasons you said about setting up Uncommon Studios, was the ability to matter and make more work that matters. Well, because you've talked about Grey, and you started to make work that mattered there. You know, it was an overnight success.
Apparently, it took 8 years to change my hair color. The overnight success that turned me grey, literally
grey. Yeah. Thanks, Grey. Yeah. No, that was in the contract.
Yeah, right.
Was it that you weren't able to make enough of the work that matters in Grey, or what was that moment? You're like, we need to do this ourselves.
We made a couple of bits. We made the angina monologues for the British Heart Foundation, who, while they were at Grey, by the way, were a brilliant client. We had 3. You know, they single-handedly taught me that you can pitch your way out of failure. So Grey was not a great place. It had a roster of clients who didn't want ambitious, challenging work, didn't really want to disrupt. And we won the British Heart Foundation out of nowhere with a great pitch that behaved completely radically. And we said, nothing you do should be normal. We're not going to make a fucking advert in inverted commas. The very first thing we did was a simulated heart attack. Second thing we did was the angina monologues, which, you know, won a British Comedy Award.
Right.
In hindsight, that was before, and I
mean
this sincerely, that was before we even knew what branded entertainment was.
Right.
People weren't even using those words. So we basically made a comedy show that lasted for an hour. Female comedians teaching you about heart disease through comedy, hosted by Victoria Wood. You know, it taught me so many fucking lessons, that entire project. And then we made Vinnie Jones, you know, Staying Alive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so
that's amazing.
That taught me as a canon of work was, if you pitch and start a relationship in the right way with the right ambition and then follow through on it, well, you can just make that work all the time. Now, of course, Grey was great, and we did a load of those pitches, but we also did pitches, you know, because we wanted to win. Yeah. And we also had a load of clients that weren't making it. So I woke up and I was like, right, we made Life Paint, we made that, we made a few other bits too. There was a load of good work, Sunday Times, all the above were great, but I was like, what if every client?
Yeah.
What if I didn't have a single fucking passenger client?
Yeah.
Could I run a studio like that? And how much fun would that be? And how much better would my life be? And our app be?
Yeah. How scary was that moment? Because I mean, it's a big step. You know, you're in a really good, safe job,
lucrative, well paid.
Yeah. You know, all the things.
I was rich. Yeah,
60-year-old you was probably going.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you weren't, but like, you know, it's a lot to kind of have that moment. Like, how was that?
It was really good, but also I was afraid. I think for the first year I got cynical and it got easy, and I was paid a vast sum of money, and I was like, why am I not happy? And I realized I wasn't growing, and I was in a bubble, and I got afraid it would pop, and it would have, actually. I really believe this. I think I was not going to be happy, and I think there was just a weirdness to it, that it had got big and it had done its thing, but there was nowhere to go really other than trying and keep the whole place inflated and try and, you know, it was speaking the wrong stuff to me. There was stuff underneath it that was saying, if you stay here, you'll die. I mean, in a weird way. And so I was like, no, I've got to do something. And I started talking to Droger, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Not a lot of people know this, I don't think. I don't know about doing something with him in London, and I denied and eventually didn't. And he called me one weekend and went, he's a really smart dude. And he went, yeah, all right, you're not going to do it. Yeah, fine. But I'll tell you what, you're also not going to do. You're not going to stay where you are because you can't now.
Right.
So good luck starting your own thing. I was like, fuck, okay. And he kind of articulated, I think, how I was feeling in a way that I hadn't quite yet. And so then sat down and went, right, let's do it.
Wasn't an easy start. Were they trying to pull you back?
No, they were trying to fucking fist me. They were trying to sue me. No, I mean, you know, they were scared and angry, I think, at WPP and whatever. And, you know, I don't agree with their strategy.
Yeah.
They were. And so as a result, they were trying to use contracts and legals to halt our opening and to mess with it and to distract us.
Right.
Someone's strategy, fine. And so, yeah, we had a tough start. We couldn't build clients. We couldn't speak to anybody. We had no money in the bank. So it was a standing start.
Wow.
Side. In many ways, I'm grateful for it.
Are you? Why?
Yeah. Well, because it made us fucking ferocious.
Right.
And also I was like, I'm going to fucking eat you, man.
Right.
I'm going to come for all your shit. I'm going to come for all your stuff, man. I'm like, I'm going to, and weirdly, I kind of didn't in the end. What I realized is I didn't want any of their stuff.
Right.
That's what I realized.
Okay.
But it gave us a ferocity and it gave us an anger that I now realize we eat like fuel.
And is that still 6 years in, that the ferocity is still there?
Not at them, but
just
in
general.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, look at our work, man. You'll feel it when it drops.
Yeah.
You might not like it all, but it's all got the intent. And we have this phrase that Toby, actually, who's one of our strategic partners, Lucy's right hand, he said an interesting thing at Uncommon is we don't ever try to have the same year twice. So, and we don't.
Right.
Like, it's not enough we don't look at our award tally and go, well, let's get one more than that. We just go, how do we step everything up again? So the Britain Get Talking work's been running now 5 years. It's created over 100 million conversations. It's the UK's most recognised mental health charity. We should probably just be sitting back in our cardigans. Instead, we're not. We've kind of gone, actually, how do we even up it even more? So the recent one with homework, where we've got 75% of the schools in England taking it, I think that's unprecedented.
Yeah.
Now that's like a fucking dream, man. Yeah. That's like influencing the curriculum.
Yeah.
We are still genuinely scratching the surface of what we think is possible in our space. How far could a creative company go? How much could we matter? How much could we impact on our circumstances? Globe, never mind.
Yeah. How do you, it's 170 people or around that. 190 in a comma. Like, how do you not, maybe instill is the wrong word, but how do you bring everyone on the journey? I guess hiring is part of it. You're hiring the right people, but that's it. As you get bigger, maintaining that culture and that willingness and want.
Hiring is really important. You have to hire exceptionally well. This isn't a popular thing to say, but it is true. High performing places need to call it very fast on people that aren't.
Yeah.
And, when you hire people, actually, what I've discovered is you only really, particularly with creatives, they can have the best book or the worst book in the world. It's actually irrelevant. You know them in the job within about 4 weeks of hiring. There's no other way to tell. You can't ask them questions in an interview that really tell you.
Yeah.
So you start working with, and pretty fucking quick whether they're going to fly.
Okay.
And I think most people are scared to then make a change.
Make the call.
I think we're not. I mean, we're not, because I view it as protecting the people that are special.
Yeah. And also probably doing that person a favor, because they're never going to
100%
succeed or be happy or, all the things you probably were.
Also, do you remember being in an agency where people say, they're part of the B team?
Yeah.
And we were like, right, so we have this no passengers. And we mean that sincerely, which is, it doesn't benefit anybody. Them least of all, they just feel shit about themselves and they feel like they're not up to scratch. And they're like, sometimes it's not even about a level of quality. Sometimes it's just a fit or an intent or an energy. So we're pretty keen on that. We do the same with clients, and the other thing we do is try to make our culture concrete, but I don't like when people go, talk about the culture. And it's like, what do you mean? And they're like, we sit around and we have like bean bags. We have questions, we have stories,
right? And
we have key ways of working. And I think that's a culture. I think a culture is like, well, what questions are you asking of this work? In what format? And there's uncommon questions we ask. How's it famous? What's the icon for the idea? How's it going to travel? How's it going to be shared? What will someone say about it? What magazine's going to talk? We have a litany of this stuff. And that's culture.
Yeah.
To the point where, people start saying it without the script and they just have their own words for it and they find their own way into it, but they're angling at the same stuff.
Yeah, they know.
I asked Heatherwick how, it's a really interesting question you asked. It's such an expansive one. He's been going like 20 odd years. I hadn't realized. And I said to him, how do you do it? How's it so good and whatever? And he said, look, everyone can talk a load of stuff, but he said that he had 6 or 7 people who'd been there for 12 years, who were his right hands, basically. Yeah. It was like, they speak the language, they understand the intent, they have their own way of doing it. But that's ultimately it.
Yeah.
Have you got enough people that get what you're trying to do and then take it further?
And it's like, I think it's interesting there is like, if you were pulled out of the equation, that it still goes. Like, do you know what I mean? That is still there. It's innate in people and I
think so.
They get it without you, because I think there's always a risk and danger that the people are, without him, it's like, well, no.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think there's a spirit at our place of kind of fucking in the nicest way, which is what I'd have said. But Christopher and Benny and got some amazing people. Taya, Cecilia, Ellie, Lisa. Like there's wall to wall people who you could have got in this room and asked about the uncommon process, and I would argue they would have all said it in different words, but they all said the same thing. And I'm like, those people are the ones, and they hold, Christ, man, I'm held to account by my junior creative teams. You know, I have what we call reviews with them, and I feel reviewed, not the other way.
Right.
around.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
You know, like
they're pushing you on
there's a real fucking spirit of challenge.
Brilliant.
You know, it's not comfortable.
But that's great because there's a like you have to create and again, culture being, you know, a bit of a shit word, but like the safety in a way of people being, I'm okay. I'm going to, you know, if I don't agree with them, I'm going to say it because there's respect.
100%.
Yeah.
But there's a personal ambition, which is the thing. They're not trying to get on. You know,
right.
They're sort of going, I came here because I was going to make the most important work of my life.
And you're getting in my way.
And is what you're saying going to make it happen or not?
Right.
And so there's a real, it's quite ferocious.
What's the energy like in the place? Because
Hi. You know, don't
take all the caffeine out.
No, it's good. Look, honestly, it's a really trusting, very high performing place, but it's incredibly open and everyone's very, very generous. But the energy, there is a real spirit at camp. People fucking say stuff.
Yeah.
And very fast. And the level is really high. But the crew there are a fucking crew, you know, they die for each other and they rescue each other, and you know, it's really inspiring.
It reminds me of I haven't worked in a Michelin star kitchen. I did work in kitchen, but it reminds me of a kitchen. That level of just the, you know, the pace you can't let up because a bad dish goes out.
That's it. But that's our view of the studio.
Yeah.
Bad dish goes out. Like, what are we? We're not common. The only point of difference we have is our level. But I remember hearing this thing about BBH, and I had a perspective on it at the time, and someone said back in their heyday, they called it joyless. I remember thinking, well, what happens when it's not excellent? It's just fucking joyless. And that's how I remember thinking, I don't think uncommon is joyless.
Yeah.
I think it's ferocious, and I think it's bright, and I think it's fun, and I think it's thrilling.
Yeah.
I think it's the most thrilling place people might work because the stuff we do has been done.
Yeah.
No one made the ones I can see before. No one stopped national television for get to. We do that shit every other month.
Yeah.
And so I think it's thrilling.
The work is phenomenal, and it's like, it's incredibly well known. I love the recent communion saves.
Oh yeah, cool.
Gosh,
yeah, great.
It's just like it's attitude, it's punk. Thanks. It's like it's like
that comes from Dan, man. That the founder of Communion is one of my favorite people, Dan Hegarty. You need to get him on here.
Yeah,
he's incredibly special, massively again articulate to that whole conversation. And he started Habito, you know, originally, and went and did Communion, and he's just a very special dude. But Dan called me one day. I'm on Lamb's Conduit Street, pick up the phone. We ended up 45 minutes. And he was like, you know, he basically said no one should die poor.
Wow.
Whoa. I was like, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
That was nice. First fucking radio. I got Nils on the phone. Like, hooked straight in my mouth. I was like, yeah, we'll do it for free, Dan.
Yeah.
Like, Lisa and Natalie were like, what? But he's exceptional. So, you know, but again, it's I then go to him and go, right, I've got this whole fucking script where we're swearing and absolutely everything you want to free. And he was like, yeah, in a heartbeat. He was like, it's fucking great. Let's go.
That's brilliant.
So, you know, he made a money box that looked like someone saying fuck off. I was just like, it's great.
It's like, it's phenomenal. And it's like, what's interesting about that, I was talking to Brian from Core Creative here about it. And, you know, there's the word bravery gets thrown around, I think, too easily. Oh, he was brave. You were brave. Everyone was brave. But like, what does that actually mean? It's more about the difference that was going to make to his business, let's be fair. Your business and
but also the world, like
yeah.
You call it brave, I suppose, but is it like the savings world is so fake. Like there's all these ads still where there's a lens flare and there's, you know, some kid on someone's shoulders and they're like, whatever, save for that.
No,
you don't. You save to get the fuck out of your house, or because your landlord's an asshole. Yeah, because you hate your lover.
Yeah,
or because you don't want to be controlled. Like, these are the reasons you save. I can't believe no one had done it. You know,
I think that's maybe how I felt when I saw it. It was like,
great.
How has nobody done this?
Yeah,
like
that line. I mean, Christopher got to that line. I think, save enough to save yourself. I was just like, that is fucking gold.
Brilliant.
I was just like, you could have that on the wall of the company for 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you like that, man.
I love it.
I can't wait I just want them to get a bit more money so we can do more work.
Yeah. Well, look,
so,
people, communion saves.
Yeah, get on communion saves.
My kids are going to kill me if I don't ask about FC24.
Oh yeah,
right?
Let's do it.
Now, so I said, I'm going to meet the guy who, anyway.
I haven't got any codes. I can't give you codes.
So they said, my 10-year-old was like, well, you got to ask him why, like, Ronaldo and Messi weren't on the cover. I said, I don't know if he has the answer to that, but
Oh, because they're not the best players in the world? Disgust. Just drop that hand grenade.
Yeah. He's a Liverpool fan, so I know.
Can't it.
But a phenomenal piece of work.
Yeah.
A bit like, obviously that was a big departure for EA Sports. They were moving away from like the FIFA legacy and had to create something that I guess was new, but still people felt connected to. It was going to be the same game.
That's right.
Talk to me about kind of how that came about and your role in it.
Brilliant brief, sort of brief. I would argue we built the studio for. We always said we wanted to be on the receiving end of the most influential and important briefs of our time. Was the guff that we wrote at the start, and I was like, that is a genuine ambition. And when that came in, it was like, okay. DJ was my lead client, who a guy called David Jackson, who is phenomenal. And again, everything you're liking is a result, I think, of the partnerships we've created. So DJ came and he said, look, it's a real moment. It's a moment in many, many ways. And you could have approached that whole situation, couldn't you? Two ways. One way could have been, it's a don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the organization probably wanted it to just be a don't fuck it up, which is you don't have to shake the earth.
Yeah.
Just have to make it nice and people will buy. Actually, DJ was like, no, this is a reset moment. It's an important thing to have done.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest entertainment property in the world. And so it was like, fuck. And I'm saying that in hindsight. I wasn't there at the time thinking that, but it's and the BBC called it the biggest entertainment rebrand ever. And I was, what? The thing I was desperate for was a story in it, because a lot of design work in the studio, runs a legitimate design practice. We've done some work I'm very proud of in that space. Some design work can be a process of almost creating something that isn't spotted.
Yeah.
You go through a redesign just to make something feel about right. And no one really notices it. And it was not that. I was desperate to have a story inside it and something in it that gave that new property meaning. And so when we discovered the control triangle, when we talked about the world game, we talked, none of us can change the game like all of us. 150 million players. We were like owning the control triangle. Then the magic trick of that having hid in plain sight for 20 years.
Yeah.
That was enough of a story for everyone to latch onto it to go, okay, that's good. That's got some depth. It's not like, here's a new logo. Do you like it?
Yeah.
It's irrelevant whether you like it. Here's the story. Yeah. So it felt to us like it was a get out of jail.
But you did a huge amount of stuff for them, activations and
loads,
yeah.
Loads,
Which was that new at the time for you, or
no? We did a bit of that stuff, but not on that level.
Right.
I mean, two things I still marvel at: the amount we were let into the game, the experience of the game. If you look at the branding, the typography, the angles, the grids, the coloring, we lived through the whole experience.
Did you?
Yeah,
that's what my boys wanted to know that as well.
You'll sit there playing it. Right. I mean, dude, you'll see it, like the animation, the way it moves. It's in the center of the game for the entire experience.
Yeah,
which I'm just honestly still, very privileged, I think, to have done that. But then, we launched it with a load of stuff outside of it, but we also had a 3-day event, Clubhouse. Yeah. That was definitely the most ambitious experience. I mean, we had every baller known to man, like Ronaldinho, Drogba, like my heroes. And in a 3-day space in Amsterdam, and we sort of promised ourselves somewhat naively that every touch point would be remarkable. So we said, like idiots, how do you walk in and have to share something? So we made a version of the control triangle that sat above everybody that came in's head so they could share it. So they had the thing, made an AR version of it so you could share yourself with it. We were like, as you walk through, how do we recreate a real tunnel that smells like grass and flares? So we commissioned the fragrance. No, we went through. We absolutely went through it. There's corner flag, like everything. The wristbands, the corner flags, the beer was yellow card, red card. Like it was, and so we took on far too much. I mean, the team were incredible, but were probably literally a espresso, just shooting base. But it was a hell of an endeavor. But that was, I think, again, a reference point.
Yeah.
Experience for the studio. So that level of depth, I think, taught us we could do any event under the sun now. And we've already had 2 or 3 other briefs.
Have you?
Yeah, it's really good. We love that. I mean, I don't like to call it experience. Let's call it physical or environmental design, which is much more where we want to play.
Okay.
So when someone says, we'd like to launch this thing, I'm like, well, okay, what physical manifestation of that are people going to share and talk about? Not how do we have quite a nice party with the public?
Yeah.
But that is not.
Yeah.
We don't want to be doing roof parties, but that's not it.
The roof. No, I know what you mean though. It's like it's that next level thing. It's like, that's been done.
But the privilege of making something physical. So what EA taught me was it's all a privilege. But the privilege of creating a physical thing that you can walk in and out of, and that you can hold your phone up to and share, and that you can lean on. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so how could you possibly waste it with another Deeply Average garden party for a gin?
Yeah.
The world doesn't need more of those, dude. It doesn't.
Another time. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's, look, I don't disagree with you. You are listening to That's What I Call Marketing, in partnership with the Indie List, where you will find experienced and vetted marketing talent, people like me, and also people who design and people who write. You get the idea. Check out theindielist.ie.
You are listening to That's What I Call Marketing. Do you need help growing your business through marketing? Well, check out our services at that'swhaticallmarketing.com. Get in touch today and see how we can help.
I was going to ask you about out of home.
Oh, yeah.
You do like out of home?
Love it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I have to ask you one question. Did you put the out of home outside mother's office? I was listening to an episode of a podcast. You're like, I didn't know they had one outside their office. Did you do
it? Can't talk about it.
Okay.
Having told you previously, I'm fueled by these petty things. What do you fucking think?
When I heard it, I was like, there's absolutely no way he's not. Brilliant.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Good stuff. I guess, what is it about out of home that you're...
Dude, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It's the last way to be like, I think it's come full circle. I remember people would go into agencies trying to persuade you to write out of home adverts because people weren't booking enough. And I'm looking at it now like, if you want to define a brand as having scale or in a moment of change or has having some conviction or important thing to say, you get that.
Oh, yeah.
Last great magazine covers, you can't flood it with crap. And if you do flood it with crap, it's just dross. So don't. And you just go, it's 40 foot wide, dude. When was the last time you made something that was 40 foot wide?
Yeah.
That's like incredible. In an age of phone screen.
Yeah. And is this, you think, like a signal of we've arrived, like
or change, or like I say, conviction, or we mean it, or here's a thing you need to know, particularly if the brand isn't big. I like it when brands use it to ascend. But B&Q, it was so good. Like all our work for them, I think has this. They're a national, they're our national home improvement. Partner. I just think that them to appear around us like that scale is great. Bright orange. I did love it.
Yeah.
So I love the body language of it. We talk a lot about body language, but I like the confidence.
Yeah. It is.
But I also think, man, it's the last place to make what used to be album covers. I think if you get it right, they're either our best form are either convictions, and by that I mean statements. We will grow again. Business, leisure, mischief.
Yeah.
Hope is power, or they're just beautiful visuals that still have intelligence in a time when intelligence has slightly gone missing or been construed as complicated, which is very different.
Yeah. I briefly had a stopover in Dubai and like literally 6 hours, but I was out and I saw the size of the out of home there. And what struck me, not the size, because everything was grand there, but they were beautiful.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. Like, wow, I kind of missed that because I think there's a real tendency for us to throw everything at out of home.
There's some stuff. You're absolutely right. Like when you go to New York, there's some stuff that only works if it's 100 feet.
Yeah.
So you can have a black and white photo of someone in a pair of jeans and you'd be like, what? And then you put it 100 feet and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Because the scale of it and the restraint of it are powerful. It's not restrained or powerful on a phone screen.
No.
Someone in a pair of jeans, it's normal.
Yeah. It's scrollable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I think that scale, just is tantalizing.
You talked a bit about the importance of like those client relationships and asking the question, like, why are you here? Which I love. Again, I love the simplicity of that question of forcing.
Yeah.
What is working for you with the client relationships? Because you've also kind of said that, client services was the start of the death of advertising in a way. So. How does it work though? Because how do you service the relationship?
Client partnership.
Right. So it's just a different name for it or two different things?
No, it's different belief. Like,
okay.
I think we are in service, but not necessarily of our clients. I think we're in service of a bigger mission. So with ITV, we're in service of reminding the UK that their broadcaster is the broadcaster, that one of the only people that can hold a mirror up to it. One of the only, you know what I mean? And so we're in service of something together. And our best partnerships are genuinely leveraged with equal ambition. So Paddy at B&Q, DJ at EA. I mean, DJ at EA in our first couple of months was like, what was all the fuss about? Is this really the best Uncommon has? Like, kick my ass.
Really?
Yeah. And it was like, okay, you asked for it. Our best clients are not people who want to give people money to be pandered. Our best clients are people who come to us with a genuine need for some form of change or some form of impact.
Yeah.
And they believe that we are best placed to give. And so the conversation isn't one of, in my parade of show ponies, do I like this one most? It's, those guys have a real fucking point to prove. And if I need what they offer, there's only one company.
Yeah.
There's only one studio I need. We're not, I would argue we're not in the same business as other studios.
Yeah.
So that's what it's in service of. And I've always believed as well, and our clients wouldn't say this because they're lovely, humble people, but I want them to grow and be successful.
Yes.
I want everybody that works at the studio to become brilliantly successful and known. And, I would argue that that's also something we both give each other. There's no way I could talk about Uncommon and not thank Dane Carroll McCall and Hamish McVeigh and all these people, because it's been a critical part of our story.
Yeah.
The reason I'm sat with.
But they're also, I guess it is a critical part of their story. So is there a need then for more marketing leaders? I guess, there's only one Uncommon, but like marketing CMOs to kind of be going, to see that, to go, I actually need this. This is elevating me,
100%.
the company, the agency.
100%.
Yeah. It's not bad.
No, and I think there's a humility, particularly in the UK and Ireland, maybe, and it's lovely, but it's also limiting.
Yeah.
And that humility, I think, is stopping. Let's talk about the Irish market very quickly. I think you've got some very, very ambitious creative people here, but I think you've all talked to each other in a way where now no one's come out and gone, no, here's our story. I have this to add. In an arrogant way, like I don't have very long here.
Yeah.
And this really matters, and I think they don't have to be CMOs. They could be founders, which I wonder is a clue. But I think a crew of people here need to come up and go, right, I've got, if the 18-month CMO cycle is true, I've got 2 fucking years to do something here. And I can either get through it and glide, or I can become a reference point for my time here.
Yeah.
Now you look at people who've done it globally, like Fernando Machado, David Patton before him at Sony. These guys have all benefited from having a pop at it.
Yeah.
And I would just say that I would argue that a CMO that put their head above the parapet here and said, I want to do 2 years worth of very, very famous work with some partners that care. I think they'd have a queue around the block from Irish creative jobs.
Yeah.
Because I spoke to those guys. I know how hard they want it.
Yeah, they do.
So I feel like, I don't know. I had a really interesting question today at the talk from one of the CMOs who was like, what brief how'd you get people excited about a brief? I was like, really not hard in Ireland. You take it personally and tell them you want to do something that becomes a reference point that matters to you personally as a client. People chop their arm off to it.
I think that's really important. Like the person, I think, we going to be afraid to, show that side and our own ambition. Some people talk about, things like, power and influence. And again, ambition is up there as one of those nasty words. But it can't be ambitious because then you have an ego. It's not, you don't have to be an asshole.
The companies you really know, understand and like about that are changing the world, whether you like it or not, they're all personal.
Yeah.
Tesla. What you telling me that's not a personal thing from you? Whether you like or loathe that guy.
Yeah.
Tesla is a personal, statement of his view of the, of innovation. And, I think we have to grow up a little bit worrying that the personal somehow means not professional.
Yeah.
It's not a choice.
Yeah. How important is it that you have then a leader, like a CEO that also has that personal ambition? Because that can often be the fear.
You either need the CEO to share it or you need the CEO to inherently trust the CMO.
Yeah. Yeah.
All our best relationships, are one or the other. And, our really good relationships are where both are in tune. So the CEO wants to make that impact, sees the benefit of it, understands it, doesn't necessarily understand the nuts and bolts of it, but understand enough that the energy and fame we're going to bring and pay the business back.
Fame's an important word, actually. I love the word fame, because it's, again, it's also one of those words people are worried about using. I want to be famous. I want my work to be famous. I want my brand to be famous. But
well, it was, I mean, we did a chemistry pitch once. And I remember one of the clients halfway through the meeting stopping me and saying, look, I just want to call someone. I was like, expecting some, challenge or some provocation. And he said, use the word fame a lot this meeting, and is that important to be famous? And I thought, wow, we're never going to work together.
Right.
We're never going to work together, dude. Why?
Yeah.
Why? What you want to, and I realized though, I found it depressing, in the most depressing way. He had no interest in being famous, quite the opposite. He was scared of it. And he wanted, I think, to make some work that kind of glided nicely through the world, didn't upset too many people.
Yeah.
And he would just, and I was like, right, okay, there are people like that.
Yeah.
We're probably not.
Yeah.
And I don't buy that fame needs to be somehow dangerous. I don't buy that fame means you're risking your superiors' reputations. I don't buy that fame means your company's on a knife edge.
Yeah.
It's transformative, and it can double revenue. It can do things that rational work cannot.
Yeah. So it baffles me that is still a thing that people struggle with. I do think there's a fear, I do that, the board, the CEO, all that kind of stuff will.
But it's all formed from the unknown. Most people haven't made something famous.
Yeah.
By the way, it's scary. And I think it's very easy to lock fame in the same cupboard as ambition, to lock it all in the same cupboard as dangerous. Most of our best relationships find it more dangerous to stay as they are than they do to try.
Yeah. And in a world where I guess there's so much sameness, to stand out.
Yeah, well, I agree, but what is more dangerous? I mean that sincerely. And also, fame is not famous for what? And we would never say to someone, just be famous for anything. That's ridiculous. That's moronic.
Yeah.
What do ITV want to be famous for? Well, understanding the UK and trying to help it in a time when it really fucking needs it.
Yeah.
Bring it talking, all of the above. Holding up a mirror to our culture the way that Netflix or Apple never could.
Yeah.
And so you go, well, those things you should be famous for those. You deserve to be a national broadcast.
What was it that ITV said? They want people to talk about this thing that ITV did.
Oh, so in our first meeting, holy shit, did you see that ITV thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a load of briefs. There was something that we all nodded at in that first meeting. They just wanted people to refer. People had made their mind up about ITV at that. But they were like, it's jazz hands telly, whatever. It's like, and I think they've just gone, that's what it is. And actually we're like, no, they had a trans storyline in Corrie 25 years before we were even talking about that issue.
Right.
They've been, in the UK's thickest subject matter, however long. And we were just like, that's what we needed to get back, as well as some fun too,
Yeah. Yeah. That's important. And then you also talked about the 70-20-10, which I thought was good. Is that kind of a permission piece for people to go, let me try a bit of this thing?
Yeah. I mean, look, what's your appetite and recipe for risk, I suppose, or what you consider to be risk?
Yeah.
And some organizations enter wholeheartedly into that. I think Dan Hegarty at Communion believes that, I don't think he has a relationship with it at all. I think he just thinks if it isn't disruptive in some way, he talks about why on earth will I spend a single penny doing it? Other people don't feel like that.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them in sliding scale that also, in the wisest way, want help organizing their organization. Because the CMO might want it with all their heart, and they might turn around to the whole organization and they find out they don't. And so at that point, you all have to work together to construct the narrative for that company that lets them do it.
Yeah.
So 70-20-10 with us going, look, 70% of the money, spend it as you are, 20% of it, stretch it, but in the media, you usually spend it in, and then 10% that shit.
Yeah.
Go for it. And it's risk money. And that's where the life paint money came from.
Oh, is that came from a 10% bet?
First time we coined that sort of phrase, we sort of went right, and we had life paint, a couple of other things, and life paint rose to the top, paid them back. Now a part number.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's a part number, and of all their leadership, you can order life paint.
Wow. Yeah,
but here's the learning. Here's the real learning, man. If I could go back however long, I wouldn't have spent 9 months having this conversation, helping organize that company, although I'm really glad we did. What I'd have done is gone straight to Albedo, made the product myself, and then said to Volvo, I'm going to launch this. Would you like to help? Not, can I please launch this?
Right. So actually, you talked about that, like going, getting it done, making it real, and then people go, "Oh, I need that thing." Yeah,
the dynamic of the conversation completely changes. They're going to do it anyway. Should we go along for the ride?
Yeah,
it's a totally different conversation.
It made me think. Actually, I remember years ago working in an agency, and brilliant creative director Brendan Flaherty here, and more Irish name. But they wanted to work for a specific client, and we kind of did this whole piece of work. And actually, when you talked about that earlier on, I was like, actually, the mistake we made is we brought it to them, and we showed them and said, "We've done this. We think you'd love it. We think we're great." Whereas we should have actually gone and said, "Brand B 100%. Are going to do this."
Yeah, sure. Well, one is a request.
Yeah.
And the other is a gift.
Yeah.
And they're very different, and you receive them differently. And a request is, particularly in our environment, why do they want to do it? Have I got enough money? Have I got enough time? You're already on the back foot. Whereas the other is, these brilliant people that I now have a newfound respect for, because they're doing their own thing, are letting me have the chance to play a part in this.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Isn't it?
Far more likely to get
reframing things. I do want to talk to you a bit about diversity in the industry. And this is two white guys sitting in a room talking about diversity. But how do you see it? I mean, you have 190 people working in Uncommon. I think one of the things for me I often think about is, are we able to reflect our audience and understand the audience enough in the work that we make with the people that we have in the industry?
I mean, no. Again, mechanically, right or wrong, I view it as a competitive advantage. We've always viewed it that way. Like, we're the only majority female founded startup of our size in Europe still, which, what? It's more for me like, and I try to transform the conversation, because when we go, we reflect on our audiences. That's the grown-up thing to say. It's true, but it's the grown-up thing to say. How fucking good can we be? How radical can we be if we haven't got a diverse array of voices and minds? How could we possibly hope to be properly radical? How could we possibly hope to have new views and genuinely new ways of looking at the world if everybody in the room is the fucking same?
Yeah.
That's me. I'm selfish. I'm like, I want a company that is smashing it in ways that people aren't familiar with. And by that, I mean the populace. So therefore you must be diverse.
Yeah.
So we try to be as aggressive and as clear and as open and as candid as we can be about moving the numbers in terms of race, in terms of gender, in terms of all of it.
Yeah.
Background, a lot.
How do you do that then and I don't know what the setup, but like, is the studio, like, do people come into the studio, work there every day? And are you limiting your pool by doing?
No, I don't think so. We've got a wide array of people. They all work in different ways. We have a thing called the uncontract that we wrote yonks ago. So we need to rewrite. But the uncontract was written after getting sued for a contract. To basically say we can work from anywhere, we can work our own hours, we can work with our kids, we can work with.
This was before COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like literally on launch day we had it. And it was a reaction to being in a corporate culture that didn't.
Okay.
As it stands now, we don't tell people when to be in or not. Most people tend to come in throughout the middle of the week, but they also tend to come in around projects, and we haven't really got to do a number there. The studio, buzz of the studio is contagious.
Right. Yeah.
And so it feels pretty good. I would be perfectly happy though to tell people to come into. I think it's a competitive advantage. I think having a crew in a room and, feeding that energy and everyone's shoulders dropping is the thing you can't bring on a Zoom.
No. Yeah.
And that is our advantage. It always has. So I would be perfectly comfortable if people didn't come in to say, because I think it makes us go faster.
Yeah. With this, the shortcuts without a doubt. One of the Paul Durham, who's a marketer here, myself often debate it, and it's not I don't think either of us have. Well, he has a strong view, and it's not that I don't. I just push his buttons. Because he was in a role that was all here, and he's going into a role where his whole team's remote. I'm like, how are you going to do that? Because you want everyone in the room.
Also, it depends on the state. So weirdly, what I discovered over COVID was my lot, because they were so fucking efficient. The moment we all disappeared and worked remotely, the writing got better. So the quality of writing in the time got better because there were no distractions.
That's interesting.
So the conceptual side of it was incredible. It was like, this is flawless, because they weren't being distracted. They weren't getting pissed. They weren't. But when it came to craft and production and collaboration, that dropped, and it took painfully. So there's clear need states to me where you go, you have to be in.
Yeah.
Around key production moments, around, I think you should craft appropriately. I don't think it's one answer.
Yes, I would agree with you there. It's, we will run out of time, but I want to touch on a few more things. Obviously the recent, you've called it investment from Havas into Uncommon Studios. Big news, largely applauded across the industry, which is kind of unusual sometimes when you see these things happen. Like normally when there's an acquisition or whatever we want to call it, people are like, oh, here we go. They're going to get, wiped out and, they're going to, get merged, like put that with some other agencies in the last couple of days.
Yeah, right.
But, I guess, why do you think it was so applauded? Like, why do people love it and say this is great for creativity?
Look at that. I think because it rewarded creativity. I think there is no illusion.
The answer's in the question.
Well, right, dude, but there is no illusion. We are not a fully integrated client services model. We are really not, right? Like, we are out and out creative shop.
Yeah.
And I would argue we have best in, like, yes, do we have disciplines like strategy, brand planning, narrative, all the above? Yeah, but we sell creativity. That's what's for sale at Uncle. And I think if you can do well out of that and be seen to have done well out of that, that's what people like. And I hope that, I'll be really honest, I wanted the deal to be a reference.
Yeah.
Like everything we do. I wanted it to matter to people. I wanted them to see that you could scale a business in this way and it had worth. The Gilbert and George thing, take the world to believe in you and to pay heavily for the privilege. I wanted to remind this industry that you don't have to sell content in inverted commas to go and make some money.
Right.
So that's the first thing. And the second is that people have overlooked this or haven't really written about it. Most deals, we've got addicted to deals where some guy's downstairs adding some letters to your name and then you go and fix something shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, think about the logic of that. You grow this incredible new company with a new vision for 5 years. Then someone gives you money and you point all of that at something old. Why on earth would you do?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, so, let's not do that. Let's partner with some people, take a bit of risk out of our expansion and our new ventures and just keep going.
How did you then, was that part of when people came to talk to you, you were like, probably why are you here? Question again.
Yeah.
And then how is this going to matter?
Yeah, we were pretty ferocious. We were like, we don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do this. And it left a kind of category of not very many
people were willing to do it.
Well, because they were like, oh, right. And those guys at Havas and Wendy and Yannick and Donna, and honestly, they were incredibly refreshing. They were like, yeah, we just really love what you're doing. We get the creative intent. We think it can scale. They'd seen evidence of that and they don't have another us. So they were like, well, why wouldn't we invest in it?
And just, you go do you, here's investment to make it happen.
They've got Canal Plus in their armory. They've got Gameloft. They've got, we do film, we do game. We want to grow and learn. So, walking around Canal Plus's office, they've got a picture of Paddington on it.
Right.
Fucking Polaroid of Paddington with the Queen. Right. Like, they're not mucking about. And so it's like, I just looked at all that and went, we've got stuff to learn here, and the scale of those guys, playing with a bit of that scale. So as we launch in the States, it's kind of thrilling to just have somebody behind us a little bit.
It kind of goes back to that earlier point maybe a bit and, the maybe weakness of the word curiosity, but you constantly have that. You're looking for what's next? What can I learn? Where can I be better? Where can we just blow this up?
Maybe I need to reframe my view of curiosity. The way you talk about it is right. I just, I think that's right. It's hunger.
Yeah.
It's hunger. And it's also a terror familiarity.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really scared. Really scared of
sameness.
Yeah, of seven. Yeah.
You've talked a bit about cracking America. It made me think of, bands that are like, huge in Britain and want to crack America. How's that gonna work? And how are you gonna?
No idea. Yeah. When we started, we and others, by the way, were worried that, that vision, that's great, but it'll only work on challenger clients. And then we won B&Q and BA.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, that's great, but it'll only work in Britain. And then half our revenue is global. And I think the experiment is, well, how can the way we see the world, how can working with people in moments of change, how can that coincide with a country in the biggest moment of change of history?
Yeah.
And what a brilliant privilege it is to open officially there and play a part in it. I've always loved the idea that you go where the heat is.
Where it's hot.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is. But there's energy too.
Yeah, there's energy. I was in New York maybe a year and a half ago, and the energy was, but I'm not sure if I loved the energy.
Look, if you look at our MO, the woods are burning.
Yeah.
All of it. I'm not saying it's all good. Definitely is. But it is and it is happening. And people are going to need lots of things. They're going to need levity, and they're going to need entertainment, and they're going to need things in the world that remind them of humans are nice people. Yeah. And what a powerful time to be in charge of or custodian of some of these brands and be able to say, this is how meaningful we're going to be. This is how we're going to matter in this period. This is what people are really needing or missing. And I just think that's an amazing privilege. And, you know, at the very least, we just give them people some ways to laugh through it all, I think.
Well, that would be nice. That's a very, it's needed. Are you going to document it? Feels like something that'd be interesting.
Probably should.
Yeah,
probably should. I mean, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Be brilliant. I'd watch that. Like seriously, I mean, that would be phenomenal. Like, I mean, you're at this point of, you know, massive opportunity, as you say, such a moment in that country's, you know, journey.
Yeah.
And to document that and show how creativity can potentially change.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No way of doing it. I can't bring my laptop with me and do it. I was just
set it up like this.
How do you continue to find, I think, like the heroes and people that inspire you and, you know, keep you, I guess, fresh and creative?
Yeah. I'm addicted to it.
Right.
You know, that's my way of, you'll think about curiosity. Other people go, well, I go to the theatre, or I'm addicted to human impact. And I fall in love really quick. Like Max Porter wrote Grief is a Thing with Feathers, and I read it in a weekend. And I think it was, I don't know, just spoke. I'd never seen the human language, you know, English, whatever, has been around for God knows how long. But the pairings of the words, aphrodisiac disaster, unkillable trickster. Like, who the fuck writes like that? Just out the bat.
Yeah.
That guy is a hero of mine. I've seen him live now, saw his adaptation of it. We're lucky enough again. Currently, maybe we're working on a moving image version of events with those guys. But the point is, when I'm moved or see these people and their efforts and their endeavor, I don't just go, that's wonderful. I find a way for us to try to reduce the distance between them, because I know whatever happens is going to benefit us.
Right.
I used to have this phrase, was to have a hero and then kill them, because what I used to discover though is that most of my heroes are twat.
I want to ask you about that.
No, but lately they've not been.
Okay.
You know, Nick Cave is as phenomenal.
Is he? Is he really?
He's such a beautiful man. So irritating. When you're on set with Nick and Warren, the energy changes, and they bring. I'm not being funny, without even seeming to try. They bring a wise, calm, slow, measured, very beautiful mist. The best way to describe it.
Wow.
And you're not like there in awe. They just bring, and they're very open. They're very warm. They'll make a cup of tea and have a chat with you. But the fucking vibe is not. It's. Now you're talking about a film production, by the way, which go at 100 miles an hour, but everyone is
really.
And, you know, so the best people I think do that. They conjure that. I think Max is incredibly generous. If you watch that guy speak, I saw at South Bank Green, you know, and I've just learned that if you mirror that too, like the more of this stuff I do, the more I learn about us, and the more I can learn from. So I'm veering a bit, but go with me on this. Like, the act of putting together the presentation today forced me to think about things that I would never have codified. Which is who has the time.
No, yeah.
So I'm sat there on that fucking plane going, what fucking me? And so the self-reflection really forces you to recognize what's special or not about your learnings. Anyway, but I try to reduce the distance to those heroes, and there is no shortage of them. The more you meet new people in life.
100%.
So I met Deepak Chopra's son, Gotham, who runs Religion of Sports the other day. Religion of Sports is like a amazing film production company, frankly. Far more with spirituality at its heart and meditation at its heart.
Okay.
I was like, those guys, just for what they're doing. No one's doing anything like them. They've made some of the most important sports documentaries ever. You know, and they're walking around the block teaching, you know, LeBron how to chill out. Wow. Fair enough.
How do you chill out?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really obvious. I need my base. I need my stuff. I need my anchor.
Okay.
My family. You know, I like to cook, man. I like to.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I draw a lot from what I do. So I'm very lucky. You know, I recognize that really early. Like, I like writing and I like problems. They thrill me and make me feel alive. I go a bit mad if I don't have them. Like, I will, I struggle.
Right.
So, and I like growth and tasks.
Yeah.
You know, settling is my terror, really. And I think with 3 boys, you can't really.
With 3 boys?
I've got 3 lads, yeah. Jackson and Noah.
What age are they?
18, 16, 12.
Okay.
Yeah. Mad. But great. I'm watching their journeys, you know.
Yeah.
Watching.
Are any of them heading to...
Maybe Noah. Noah's this one. He's phenomenal. I mean, he started 3 brands.
What?
Yeah, he's like skate brands. He got on Discord before I knew what it was and was recoding Minecraft and recoding Roblox. And I was like, okay. So if I could, I mean, when I say maybe he's heading our way, I'm like, I don't think I think Noah is
the different way.
Yeah. So there's something in it. Kid is driven by something else. The other 2 are totally not the same. Jack's studying Mandarin. I'm like,
really?
Yeah, like, what? Is he my kid? I'm a really smart milkman. Milkman was incredible. I'm like, dude, he's got a photographic memory, you know. I'm like, what? And Finn is the most emotionally intelligent person I've ever met in my life. Like, he's like an old soul. I feel like he's been here 300 times.
Wow.
He's like,
he's Nick Cave.
Yeah, he is. He is. Be around him, you just feel good about it all. I'm like,
wow.
How he does. So they're all.
I love that. Your anchor, your base. They're there.
That's it. That's
you,
my thing.
and that's your.
So people are like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I need that." If that's fucks, I'm fucks.
Yeah.
So
great balance. Nils, thank you so much for spending so much time. Absolute joy. It's just no wonder things are going where they are for you. Honestly, your energy is phenomenal. People said it today.
Thank you.
And it's
Thanks, man. And thanks for taking the time for this.
Listen, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Listen, thanks a million.
See ya. Thank you.
Never meet your heroes. Well, I definitely met one today, and he did not disappoint. There's something different about Nils. He has an energy that is beyond infectious. He pushes, he prods, thinks deeply, and wants to leave a mark. And he does. As I said to Nils when we spoke, he's like a Michelin star chef, like a 4-star Michelin star chef. He's creative. He knows what excellence is. He expects it all the time and actually wants every plate, every piece of work to be better than the last one. No dropping of standards. He accepts and expects fame. I get the impression that in 10 years' time, if all of the 190 people that are in Common Studio now were out there doing their own things, making exceptional work, Nils would be a really happy person. What a phenomenal episode. So grateful for Nils, IAPI Marketing Society and Core Creative for helping put this one together. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get a notification of when our next brilliant episode lands. And if we can help you with your growth through marketing, visit that'swhaticallmarketing.com and see how we can help. Thanks again to the Indie List for their support of this show. If you need experienced, excellent marketing talent, go to theindielist.ie. Don't go anywhere else. theindielist.ie.